How to race against an aggressive driver. So I feel like most of us have somebody that we know or multiple people in our area and they hold a bunch, 3, 4, 5 or more, hundreds. How can we kind of counter that? And I was once talking to John Angel, and he's friends with Scotty Richardson, and he was talking about this idea Scotty was saying about offense and defense. So, and I don't know, I have never seen any of his Schooled by Scotty's stuff, but this is just kind of my take on it, and it was interesting because it's kind of something that I had already been trying to implement in my own racing. Offense and defense. So the aggressive driver is obviously on the offensive side. We're gonna be on this defensive side. So we're gonna be over here in this 1, 2, 300ths range that we're holding. Now there's a few things I gotta put over here. I'm gonna put always. You gotta remember this. Always know how to kill it. Like I've talked about before, you cannot go into a round and not know how to kill what you're holding. Like if you pick, you're gonna hold 200s, you have to know at least one way to kill that 200s. Can't do it for the first time in a round or you're probably gonna lose. You have to test that out in a time run, in a red light, and figure out a way with the gas, brakes, whatever, to kill what you're holding. And then also, always put it dead on. Every single lap, doesn't matter. Gotta get that in your head. You gotta try your best to put the car dead on the number. Now this next thing I wanna talk about is, well, it does fall under the always categories. You gotta try to cover your light, cover your reaction time. Try your best. It's not guaranteed you might miss the tree, but hopefully trying to be 00 and hold more than that. So maybe 00 and you're holding 2, which is a very good spot, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I like to think about it as kind of like a number line. It's kind of what we're doing out there when we're on the track. So you got this number line, -1, -2, -3, and think about you and your car going down the track. You are at a position on this number line. And you can influence that position with your reaction time and how much you're holding. So in that example, if you're 005, right? 005, and you're holding 200ths, -15, you're gonna be right here. That's you. The guy who's holding a bunch, I'll leave that there. Whoa, lost the marker. The guy who's holding a bunch is gonna be way over here. So they're holding a bunch, unless they missed a tree really bad. And this is exactly what you want. You wanna be on the negative side. You definitely don't wanna be on the positive side, because let's say you're 20 on the tree and you're not holding at all, you're 1 above out the back. You're 30 total. That was bad writing. 30 total. You're right here, and you just gave the aggressive driver all of that for free to back into you. Nothing you can do about it. So you want to be just negative. And if you think about it, any bit that he's in front of you, that position, that his car and your car, he's under. He's under the 0 here. He's gonna break out. Any bit that he's behind you, well, that's also good. If and only if, remember, always, 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 you gotta put it dead on. At some point in the run, have to put it dead on. Preferably, probably later in the run, you'll back up, you'll get on this positive side just at the end, and it'll be very hard for the guy holding a bunch to do anything about it. And I wanna bring in this example, not picking on the Williams at all, I just happen to have this example racing Donovan on camera, but I raced Donovan, and I'll show you guys this run. I think I was 10. I was on a 455 with an 8. 55 with an 8. And I dialed at 458, right? That was 10. So 10 on the tree, that's 22 thousandths under, minus 22, -12. Hope you guys can see that. So I was right around this range right here. right around here. Pretty good. I knew he was gonna be holding a bunch. He was out in front of me and he hits the brakes. He goes like only 120 miles an hour, 126, puts it a few above. And that's something you gotta think about. You want them to put it above the dial. Like any bit is good. The way I always think about it, going my speed in a dragster, 4 thou, or I always think about it as 4 thou equals 1 foot of track distance, about that far. If somebody puts it dead 8, sounds very good, right? Dead on the dial with an 8. They just handed you 2 whole feet, and I love to think about it like that. As the defensive driver, the aggressive driver is kind of forcing you anyway to be precise, to know where dead on is. So kind of try my best to be a precision driver, especially when I'm using this strategy. And the guy who's aggressive, holding a bunch, they get further away from perfect. They're less precise. You see that a lot more. You see them put it way over the dial, and he did in this run actually. He put it 2 or 3 over. I don't remember exactly, but if he went 3 over, how many times is 4 going to 30? 7.5 feet he just handed you. If he gets on the brakes, puts it over the dial in, and that's what you want. Also, brakes are a lot less precise than gas in my opinion, so it's likely that'll happen. All because of this strategy. How can you take this even further? I want to tell you guys a quick story. My favorite round ever. Banamere Speedway. I was probably 10 years old in the juniors, 890 index. There's this person, a very good racer actually. We're not gonna name this person, but they were in a 790 car. And it's very slow in Denver. Obviously on the mountain, a lot of people mess with the weight trying to make it go faster. So I don't know if he couldn't run 790, but he was racing in the 890 class. And all day long, he was just womp, 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 all the way down the track, beating all these kids. It comes down to me versus him in the final. And my dad says, all right, here's the plan. He starts pulling out all the weight. These like packs, Velcro packs that sat beside me, all the weight in the tanks, dumps it out. Said, all right, this is what you're gonna do. Also, it was funny because, or it's not funny, but it's pretty cool. It was a 4/10 Pro Tree. 4/10, not a 5/10. 5/10 you could go red, 4/10 you ain't going red. It was just who could be faster. My dad had that thing cranked to like 5,000 RPM, 51, 5,200. Clutch was trying to engage. I was like slamming the brakes to try to keep it from moving. And I was like 80s, 90s all day on the tree. A lot of kids were hundreds, 120 or worse. So that's how me and this other kid were beating him. Comes down to me versus him. We take off and I go down there and I just bury the brakes, man. I stopped and I think I went like an 882, something like that. He might have been in the 860s. I'm not sure, but it was apparently pretty funny. My dad said the parents' reaction. But that's my favorite round ever. But why am I telling you guys this? It's because he couldn't tell. That's the big thing. He could not tell that he was going under. And because think about it, he's holding a second and I'm a few tenths under. It's very hard to tell. So this strategy, you kind of think about it as like a very small version of that, like a smaller scale, which is kind of what I've showed you right here. But you can set that up to where they can't tell, and that's what I try to do. And it honestly works very good in this range right here. Just slightly negative. You don't want to try to be 20 holding 30. Never try to be worse on a tree. This will probably work the best if you're trying to be 00, maybe like 007 holding 2, right? Minus 13. You're right over there. That's where it would work great because that's only a foot, or that's only a couple feet, 3 feet. But it's very hard to tell when the guy is holding a bunch and they're way over here on the negatives, off the board negatives. It's very hard to tell, oh, this guy's just, if I get there first, I'm gonna break out. So that's a very good spot. You can actually take this even farther by doing the reverse and trying to go into it and trying to get them to bail, which is exactly what I did in that run against Donovan. I was thinking, I was like, okay, I can go 455. What dial is gonna make him bail? I was thinking 457. I thought long and hard about that and I'm like, I don't think so. I think I need a 458. That's what I chose. I needed to be not here, I need to be, or I need to be not here, I need to be further this way to make him think, all right, if I get there, I'm breaking out, and make him go backwards, because it's a lot less precise when they go backwards. So that's the opposite way you can kind of look at it. Don't want to throw too much at you guys, so that's about gonna do it for this one. You know, people can get flustered and get out of their game plan. They can get nervous, get fearful when they race people holding a bunch. So just remember this right here. At the end of the day, everything you're doing, try your best to stay in your own lane. You know, you're gonna accept that you're not gonna be in front. Know that that's okay. Make it a battle of laying down a better lap. That's what the guy holding a bunch should be doing anyway. He should just try to be holding a bunch, but putting it dead on. Same as what you're doing. Don't get caught looking. Against Donovan, he's a very good racer holding a bunch like that, and it works. He wins a lot of races, and I had a good game plan. I knew exactly what he was gonna do. I was very prepared, and he still almost caught me looking. You cannot get caught looking. You have to stay in your own lane, have to be calm, try to lay down a good total lap, and I think that could definitely ease your nerves a little bit. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed, and remember, as always, don't take too much stripe, and if you ain't getting there, cut them loose.